Hey everybody, welcome into the Betting Pros Prop Bet live stream. It's me, Dan Harris, as usual, here to walk you through all the prop bets today for the Thursday night game between the 49ers and the Titans. What you'll see on the screen right now is the prop bet cheat sheet over at Betting Pros, okay? bettingpros.com/props, or just go to Betting Pros. You'll see it right on the home screen. What it does is it compares the available props in the market, and it gives you the Betting Pros consensus projections, and it tries to find you the best edge. As you can see, I'm currently sorted by all locations up here. You can sort by your location, but I look at all locations, so you'll see a bunch of different books. You have FanDuel, you have DraftKings, you have Bet365, you have Fox Bet, all that sort of stuff. You can have all bets, or you can go to a particular matchup, which is what we're doing right now. And you can go by any stat you want, any player you want, everything like that. So let's just get to it. I have a few that I feel like I like. Feel free, if you're subscribed to the channel, which, by the way, would just be a great way to show support for what this is. Just subscribe to the channel here. Also, like the live stream would be great. But if you are, you can comment in the chat. I will try to answer what I can. You can see that the biggest edge they see, and again, this is by the difference that they have it here, is Jimmy Garoppolo, who they have over 239.5 passing yards. That's fine. I mean, you can exploit the Titans through the air, certainly much more than on the ground. I don't love it, though, just because I feel like with Jimmy G, you never really know what you're going to get here. You never know if it's going to be one of these huge days or one of the days that he's just going to play conservative and sort of check down, or they're going to do a lot of running. The second prop bet, the one that is the second most highly recommended, is Deebo Samuel over 42.5 receiving yards. Now, Betting Pros projection is way over the 62.65 receiving yards. And again, those are projections that come from around the market. Okay. So, like, those are projections I'm saying that are consensus projections. What we do at Betting Pros, what we do at Fantasy Pros. So, that's not an outlier, right? We're not looking at some crazy random person saying, oh, this is what I have it projected for. These are sort of aggregate projections. So, that's a pretty big edge. Now, I also do my own projections, which I do for the most part on the fantasy side. And I do have this as an edge too. I don't have Deebo quite as high as that. I do have him for 57.1 yards, though. So I also see an edge. That's a prop that I would hit. And again, we saw Deebo get only one catch for a few straight games there, but he got more involved in this most recent game. 5 targets, 4 catches. So I do think that we're going to see a similar thing here from the passing game, especially when you can exploit the Titans through the air. Wide receivers put up a lot of numbers against them. Ryan Tannehill passing numbers here, I don't love nearly as much. A.J. Brown is a tough one, though, because I do think that it sets up well for A.J. Brown. Just with Mosley out, the 49ers have been really susceptible to big games from wide receivers if you can make that happen. The problem with Brown as he returns here is we don't know the snap share, right? We do not know whether or not he's going to necessarily play, 80% of the snaps or 50% of the snaps. Who knows where his conditioning is? So I lean over here, as does the prop bet cheat sheet, but it's not something that I want to attack. I do want to look at the rushing yards props, though. So I'm going to go down here and just scroll down and see how easy that is. Dontrell Hilliard, I don't really love. I am going to go, though, with Deonta Foreman over 49.5 rushing yards. You can see a slight edge here, 57.3 with the prop bet cheat sheet consensus projections. I also have this projected for an over. Now, the offensive line for the Titans is just terrible right now. Taylor Lewan is out with his back injury. Roger Saffold and Kendall Lamb are both on the COVID list. They're really just dealing with a lot of stuff, and the Niners are really, really tough against the run. But this is what the Titans do. They need to set up the run in order to set up the pass. And I think the addition here of A.J. Brown and Julio Jones are really going to allow them to sort of have more success in the running game than they ordinarily would. 49.5 is not a big number. They have been leaning into Deonta Foreman a little bit more here. So over 49.5 is where I want to go. I don't really like to touch these other ones here. Jeff Wilson at 65.5. That's just a little too high for my taste. You can see the prop bet cheat sheet has it right around there as well. So that is something where that's probably right on the mark. I don't really want to go there. The Jimmy Garoppolo over, I don't necessarily care. I don't mind the Ryan Tannehill over. If you were going to go with a quarterback rushing prop, I do prefer his even to the little 2.5 here for Jimmy G. Even though it's not a huge edge per the prop bet cheat sheet, it does strike me as a game where you know that the Niners are going to get pressure. And we've seen Tannehill take off a few times a game, every single time. It doesn't take much to get to 14.5. So I lean the over there as well. So Tannehill over 14.5. I do like Deonta Foreman over 49.5 rushing yards as well. Let's check out the receiving yards prop just to see. Again, I like Deebo Samuel, as does the prop bet cheat sheet. I don't really see too much of an edge here other than that. A.J. Brown, again, that's what everybody sort of is asking about today. What are we going to see? We just don't know. We don't know the exact number of snaps that he's going to play in this one because we don't know his conditioning. Brandon Ayuk, again, not somebody who I feel particularly comfortable with. Don't know what we're going to see with Deebo. And someone's asking here, Football Room TV is asking about George Kittle. It's 70.5. That's a big number. I know it doesn't seem like that because it's George Kittle, but it's really, really hard to sort of get that number consistently as a tight end. You can see that the prop bet cheat sheet does lean the over 77.92. If I'm forced to take a side, I would go over. And I do think that if he stays healthy, he's going to be able to hit that number if he doesn't leave the game early, but not enough of an edge for me to want to bet. If you do want to bet it and you say, Dan, I really just want to bet George Kittle props today, I would go with the over. Mike Cobb, who always joins us. Hello, Mike. Good to see you. Who do we like for anytime touchdowns? He took Deebo and Kittle. Do I think it will hit? I mean, Deebo scores a touchdown pretty much every game. So there's really not much to dislike about it. I'm not sure what the odds were on it. And Kittle certainly is as good a bet as anyone. I also think that Jeff Wilson could be a candidate for that. So if you go back to all stats here, you can see, again, it's a weird game. There aren't that many playmakers that you really want to go after. So anytime touchdown, certainly for Kittle or Deebo, that's fine. But in terms of the actual props that I really like in this one, Deebo Samuel over 42.5 receiving yards is definitely one of my favorites. It is certainly an area that I've attacked. I have betted already, so I would go with that. In addition, I also like, you know what? I'm going to go down just to the players here so we could see in case I want to see anybody else. We'll go to Tannehill. You can see, you can list this by player so you can see everybody. I don't love any of the Tannehill props other than I would lean towards the over on the rushing prop, 14.5. This is something, again, where I think because of the injuries to the offensive line, you are going to see pressure on Tannehill. You are going to see him roll out a little bit, and you're going to see him take off when he feels a little bit of pressure coming up. So that's something we're over 14.5. And I will say as well, we'll go to the rushing yards here, which again was the other one that I really liked. I'm going to go with Deonta Foreman over 49.5 rushing yards. Okay, that's a number where if he does get the 15 to 17 carries that I'm projecting him for, he should be able to go over that even against a tough run defense. So that's really it. Again, you can find all of this and you can see for every game before Saturday, on Christmas, before any of the games, you'll see the prop bet cheat sheet listing and it gives you all the best props that it sees based on consensus projections. That's it. That's it for tonight. I hope everybody enjoys the game. It's one of the few games that hasn't really been impacted too much by the COVID situation in terms of players missing. So enjoy the game. Again, feel free to bet those props. Come into the Discord and talk about it with us over at bettingpros.com/chat or go to the Betting Pros cheat sheet here at bettingpros.com/props. Enjoy your football, everybody. I'll talk to you again later in the week.